I'm pushing record to get this team meeting started and saying hello to everybody at the same time.
Hey,
hello. Woo! and then I muted everybody, and the sound got quiet.
Quiet, it's just you now.
And it's just me. And actually, we've had an amazing, crazy good weekend for those of you who are at the event. Anybody get excited? I know, it's on fire time. It was good.
It sure is. We struck gold at the event here yesterday, and actually what's really fun is that Denmark just won the world championship in handball just today.
So JP's dancing.
So we're excited about that, and I know that our guest today is a real sports fanatic also.
Yeah.
So,
but before we get to him, I think one of the things I took away from the weekend is the possibility of exponential growth.
Yeah.
The possibilities, the things that can happen. And one of the people that Orion talked a lot about was Ria, and how the Hungary team has been exploding, right? We're all hearing about that. Well, and he talked about EEP. He talked about how he was the sponsor of Ria and how that team has been growing, and how EEP has one of the biggest businesses now.
Mm-hmm.
In all of Zenzino. And we are so honored to have our Danish cross line come and actually share with us, because we want to hear from EEP about his story and actually hear about the growth that they have had, because I know the USA, we want to have from 0 to 10,000 in 1 year for all of us, right, guys? So, EEP, thank you for taking the time to come on. It's getting late over in Denmark. I don't know if you watched the game or not.
I definitely did.
Well, we were driving Orion back to the airport. I know a lot of people are traveling home, and they're flying, not just all flying on an airplane, but we're all kind of flying high and on fire. But we want to hear, we want to have that growth. The USA has definitely the potential to have that growth. And you did it in Hungary. EEP, in Hungary. That's crazy. So tell us a little bit about your story, because a lot of the people, we know you, and we know your story, but you started from the beginning in Zenzino.
Yeah. I started when we didn't have any kind of competitors in Zenzino.
Yeah,
we had quite a lot of competitors. I was just listing a few of them. One of them is Facebook. Another one is Netflix. And so many other things that is disturbing our life.
Mm-hmm. But so you had, it was way back at the beginning of all of Zenzino. You also have a family, I think, just to get that picture in there. Your wife, and you have 4 children.
So that was just my beginning, saying that we are having a lot of competitors today, and the main competitor is ourselves and the things that is disturbing us. But if I should look back, I started up, like Carla is saying, in 2005, and Zenzino was a total new company at that time. But 3 years before that, I have got a little bit experience in direct selling, also together with Orion Salem. But the first 3 years, I was basically just learning how direct selling was working, figured out how to talk with people, didn't get any kind of growth. And I think the main thing was that in 2005, when we was having 3 small kids, I was so sick and tired of, we didn't have enough money. We couldn't afford that my wife could stay home with the kids, which she really loved to do. And that was where we took the decision saying, okay, we want to do this seriously, because if you do something serious, then it's so much easier to win. So I think that was the turning point why I started up in Zenzino and started to take it as a business. And then in the first year, I was working part-time with Zenzino and working full-time as an electrician at the same time. And my wife was still home because the youngest boy at that time was only 1 year old. But basically, I was working a lot of hours in the beginning. And after 12 months, we managed to reach our goal so my wife could stay home. And then I continued to build Cincino as a part-time business 2 years more. Basically 2.5 years more, because 1st of February 2009, that was where I took the decision to saying, okay, I want to do Cincino full-time. So that means I've been spending 3.5 years to build it up as a part-time business.
Yeah, and actually, we met you about 8 years ago, and one of the things that has probably been one of the few things that have stuck in my brain is because we had 4 kids, you had 4 kids, and you have always been, when you're doing Cincino, you're concentrated Cincino, but when you're family man, you're also concentrated family man. You took your weekends, you did with the kids, but you were also a hard worker. You just continued, never stopped.
Yeah, and I think it's coming also back to some of the things we have been talking about sometimes, Carla. You can be working 80 hours every week, but you can also be a little bit more effective for the hours that you're working. And that's been my main focus. I don't want to build up another business where I have to work 80 hours every week, because I want to have freedom. I want to spend time with my family. I want to see my son play football. So those things I need to have time for. And that's the same way that I'm building my business today. So even my business is growing like crazy and been doing that the last 24 months, then it's still the same. I'm working 30 to 40 hours, and then I'm very effective when I'm working.
I love that, Yves. That really sets the tone, because just because we say we want to do this, we don't have to drop everything else in our lives. We just have to be working more effective when we're working.
So that it proves that you can actually build Cincino, have a real stable relationship, and have kids and all that. So it's possible to do it. We just have to be focused when we do Cincino. I really love that too, because there's a lot of people that really go all in and then kind of feel that they're not being there for their families.
Right.
So I love that that you've done that, and you've been able to do that all these years. And
it helped me so much when I had kids. That was huge. So Yves, you just because Orion was doing a live today about one more, just finding that one more, and he even mentioned you, that you found that one person. Now you have a great team. We know a lot of the people in your team, and you've been having a steady growth, but now you just exploded. You said you would tell me one time, one of the last conversations we had about your T-Balance and how it's been growing. Can you tell us a little bit about the growth of your business?
Yeah. When I was getting full time in 2009, I have a T number of 500 customers.
500.
500 customers. But then during the first 4 months when I went full time, because that was one of the commitments I took to myself. If I should go full time, I also need to work full time. And then I grew my customer base in the following 4 months from 500 to 1,000 customers. So that was a big turnaround for me, because then suddenly we was also having a full-time income. Basically, I went full-time a little bit too early, but at that point we was having a good income, and then we just continue building the business. And like you said, Carla, I have some amazing leaders on my team, and that's also why I've been having time also to go quite often to Hungary, because I have so many great people on my team. But I also think it's because I let them have the time to grow. And that's the same with the people on this call. Sometimes it takes time. But if you just stay with the business, stay doing something, then you'll also grow as a person. And that means when you get into being a leader, then you have a leader who's having so much knowledge that is taking care so much of your own business.
I love that. Okay. So because you've had great leadership and stuff. Now you met Ria all of a sudden, this gal from Hungary.
Yeah, I put an ad in the newspaper in Hungary. No, that was just a joke.
Here's our Danish humor coming through.
but like for some of you, you probably heard my speak from Stockholm. Basically, the reason I find Ria, that was following up due to 10 years with one of my friends. And he referred to another guy, My friends, he decided to drop out of Cincino, but I continue working with this new friend that was coming in. And he was 72 years old. He was not ready to retire, so he would just want to do something. And we were doing so many meetings, and we didn't have the results that we really want to have. But then suddenly he came up with that he knew a girl in Hungary. And then he sent an email, and then we got connected. And then I fly to Hungary. But the thing is, I didn't start up working with Ria. I started up working with her son.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with Ria yesterday about that because we are also going to bring her son to Denmark to speak. But he was the main reason why we got going in Hungary, because the first 2 months I was only working with Christopher and just have a coffee now and then with Ria. So it's also about building relationship with some of the people you meet, and be there when they're ready.
Yeah.
And I think that's been one of my strengths, is to following up on people and just be there when they're ready. I don't have to push people to get going and to sign up now. I'll be there when people is ready. And that's why you need to be ready all the time. So that means if you're on Netflix and Facebook all the time, you're not ready when the right person is ready.
Oh, that's a golden nugget. People will be right. I see people writing down, but it's so true. It's a referral too. We have to realize that about the no's. Some people get a no, but people, it was somebody who dropped out of the business, but they had that referral. You kept going on and just building the relationship. That's huge.
It is. There's a lot of nuggets in that, because one thing is to reach out and kind of look for people, kind of talk to people and build your list and build your relationship that way. But the other one is to follow up and keep following up, and then asking for referrals is a third nugget in that. So there's a lot of things that comes to that. And what I've understood is that he's got those because he keeps working those referrals, and then you find those gems that become those diamonds, just like you found Gudrun at one point, and you found, because you keep looking and you keep building a relationship.
But I remember too, if you said something about connecting them with your upline, because I know at one point you brought Ria up to meet Orion.
Yeah, but that was basically on a later point. That was when we have been going in a couple of months, and Ria was not sure if she should join Cincino, and since she has been a former CEO in another direct selling company for many years ago, she wanted to meet not only the owner but also all the corporate people behind Cincino. So that process started during the autumn in 2017, where we first meet up with Orion and Hilde, and then I invited them to Stockholm to the big events, and then they was having a personal meeting with Dag and some of the other corporate people, because she wants to check out the company. So that's also about listening to the person that you're sitting in front of. What is it they need to really have the fulfillment of Cincino, that's a good company. And sometimes you need to bring them in to come, some of the corporate people. Sometimes they need something else.
Or like we did here, we had our event here, and Orion was here, or Jonak was here, and people were putting him in front of them just to see the heart of this company.
Yeah.
It's an important deal.
So that's one of the things that you're having a pretty good access to, and that's one of the things that I've seen with some of the new leaders coming up, that they have never seen an owner of a company who is having a heart like Orion Seller is having. So that's why we're having a unique company, and that's why we're going to last forever. So that's why it's a good decision to really go out and put in the extra hours now. And when I'm talking about not working 40 hours a week, when you're having a full-time job, you need to work more than 40 hours a week, because you need to get your business going. And that was the same for me the first 3 to 4 years.
That's amazing. So what is kind of some ideas that you have here, because United States is a big country, and so a lot of these people know people who live far away, kind of like what you've done with the people. What are some of your ideas of these people? How do they, if they have the connection with them, how do they move that on and maybe even take that to the next level?
I think step number one is to rebuild the friendship. If that means if it's a person they haven't talked with for a while, they need to rebuild the friendship. So that's basically the same. If you're getting a referral for someone, then you also need to step in, start building a friendship with that person.
I love that.
Great.
So I think that need to be step number one, because if you don't build a friendship, and you can also do that online, since you're used to that in the US. In Denmark, that is something I need to work on, because I've been used to traveling out to people. But I put myself into a skill this year that I need to learn to be even better on Zoom and be working online, because it's working fine. But it is about building friendship. So people that really like you, and they really trust you, and then they want to go out and build a business together with you.
So you got Ria in, and I know you've been traveling there back.
Are you still there?
Yes, it was just clicking out there. But you traveled to and you helped them in Hungary, and they've been growing like crazy. So how did she get from 0 to 10,000 so fast? And she's actually higher now.
I think also it's about the skills. Of course, Ria was having 30 years of experience in direct selling, so that's also one point that needs to be a part of the story. It's not someone who haven't got the experience. She has been CEO for a direct selling company. That's normally not a good sign, because then it's difficult to work with the business. But she has been working on both sides. And then she has been, when I met her, she was running her regular business with 40 people as a CEO also. So of course, she's having a lot of people skills. So she knows how to communicate with people, and that is something that takes time to learn. Mm-hmm. But I'm absolutely sure there's so many more of those kind of people out there. And that's also why, like I said to you, Carla, I'm having big goals for this year, because I think it's fun to build Zinzino now, because Zinzino is in totally different stage than we have been in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. We are really ready to move on, and that's why I want to grow 100% this year.
We got to stop you. I mean, I think that's crazy. First of all, people need to, you just talked about you got to T-balance of 1,000 when you made a decision to double your business in 4 months. That was back in 2000 and, was it?
2009.
Okay, so 2009, you were at 1,000. You finished out last year at a T-balance of?
30,000.
That's just nuts. That's crazy.
It is.
Okay, yeah. 30,000. And I talked to you at the Danish event, and we've been setting our goals since the kickoff in Oslo. And you said to me, yep, because I'm thinking, okay, what can we set as a goal? You know, Zinzino grew 10, 20% and da-da-da-da. And you said, nope, I'm planning on doubling.
It's crazy.
I know. I actually revised my goal for the year after I talked to you.
That's good. I think that's perfect. No, but we need to be an inspiration out there. And that's why, for me, I also need to be an inspiration for my leaders, because so many of my leaders, they can also go out and double a business. But if I'm a little bit too lazy and don't have big dreams, then it also is going to affect the company. And I want to be a part of building Zinzino to the biggest company in the world. So that's why I'm so inspired about working with Zinzino. But it's not that I'm working still 80 hours with Zinzino, but I love to do something. And I'm no problem sharing my goals, because I'm having them right here with me. So just so you know, this is my goal sheet. Mm-hmm. And it says grow 100% in 2019. 50,000 customers in balance, 500,000 new credits in a month. That's a little bit too high maybe, but we'll see. Sponsor 25 partners. I want to sponsor 25 partners. And I know that's the key to growth, because Zinzino is so extremely good to make customers now. And now we need to get the recruitment going. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I want to be leading in that area. So I'm so hungry to go out and sponsor new people. Also because I have seen that just sponsoring one more person, that can change that person's life. Mm-hmm. And we are, and I know also, Carla and JP, you're living an amazing life. And Zinzino has given us this opportunity. And that's why I want to give this opportunity to so many people, because if they're just willing to do a little bit together with us, they can change their life. They don't have to be working 70, 80 hours the rest of their life on the regular job, or even 40 hours on a regular job that maybe don't like. They don't need to be struggling for money because we're having a solution. Just people just need to fight for it.
Yeah, it's the passive income to be able to do the things that you love, actually. Mm-hmm. And I know you're one of your top loves is soccer. And mm-hmm. you actually, with Zinzino, in the last time, you now own
part of a soccer team, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And the reason I'm saying that is because I know the last line on your goal list.
I forgot that one.
Didn't mention that one, but actually that ties it together with, we're doing this, we love doing Zinzino, but we also can be spending the time doing the other things we love. Like, I don't know if you want to share that, but you have a Danish team.
Yeah, I can share that. And I'm a part owner of a football club, which is playing our soccer team, which is playing in the best league in Denmark. And my biggest dream for that team is that we can stay in the best league during the spring. So we have decided to invest a little bit more money. So hopefully we can do that. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be fun. But another thing that is the business is also giving. So all of you who's having kids here, so just to give an example, we're going to open up India probably during the next 6 months, which I'm also going to be a part in. And then my son, who's 14 years old today, he's been on the last 2 directed trips with me. He just wants to go with me on the first trip to India because he wants to see how it is to open up in a new country. So that means now you can start doing a lot of things together with your kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing this because he has to do Zinzino, but for me, it's giving joy to have my son with me when I'm out traveling, when we're on the director trip, having one of the kids with me.
Yeah, you actually brought one of them to Denmark that time, or no, to the U.S. When we had the kickoff launch, I think. Was it that event? Didn't one of them come with to the U.S., I thought?
Yeah, that was Mads. Mads, he was 12 at that time. He's 17 today when we launched US.
Oh, fun. Yes. So you were there?
We were there together in Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about making memories and being with family, and that's part of our dreams, right?
But we've spent 5 years now in pre-launch form. we haven't launched the US. I really feel that after here we've spent 5 years learning and growing, and now we're ready to get that momentum. So what would you recommend for people to be doing right now? What would you say to people? I mean, we just went to an event. Orion gave some things of contacting 10 people and showing.
I hope that he has been talking about letting the past be the past, because I think that's important. For the people who have been here with us for the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, let the past be the past. There's been some struggle in the past, but we can't change the past. So let's make a line now saying, okay, now we're into 2019. Now it's time that you're going to go out and fight for the things that you want in your life. Mm-hmm. And it don't have to be the same as Carlos you want. You have your own dreams. You have your own things that you want to do. And that's why you need to break the 0. And that means if you can finish out this month to go out and make a contract, either a customer or partner, build up your belief. So that means that you can do even more in the following months. Mm-hmm. So that is an example could be reaching out to 10 people, have a conversation with 10 people.
You know, you when you're talking, it's like, okay, it's all on that same path. You can feel that we're on the same path. Orion gave that, you know, if we're all going different directions, like we were talking about, we can look out on the snow on our lake. And if we're all going a little bit different, you wouldn't have a path. But we can tell, just listening to you after hearing Orion this weekend, that we're traveling on the same road, which is creating that path to follow. And we just need to keep connected, listening to our Go Core and listening and staying plugged in, so that we follow you guys. We want to go grow in the growth you do and grow that fast like you did, Eep.
Exactly. And it's just so inspiring to see that that when people are doing what we want to do, and it's kind of like the 4-minute mile, people didn't believe it could be done, but now we see people who are doing exactly what we dream of doing, and we get the belief that we can do it too, and we just want to follow you guys. So
yeah. And then I think it's very important what you're telling yourself, and that's the same by leaving the past, because some people, they will be asking, yeah, but since Gina's been in US for the last 5 years, then you need to turn around saying, no, we have just been building a small foundation because we're sure that everything was working fine, but now it's time to take off. And that's the same I'm talking about in Europe, saying, hey, like I'm working in Poland right now. I think we have 250 customers or something in Poland. We have been there for 5 years. Doesn't matter. Now it's time to take off in Poland.
Yeah.
So don't look about what people have done in the past or what you have done in the past. No. Now the time is there.
And Orion even said, you know, we can set some bigger goals. USA does about 2-3 million in volume dollars now, but he said our goal is within the next short period of time to go up to 30 million in sales. So, and we can even hit 60 million in sales if we say that's where we're going to go. So it's the perfect timing for people to get started, the perfect timing for people to join. We just need to give them the opportunity now.
Exactly. Or restart it for people who haven't achieved their goals.
Yeah. Amazing time. Amazing time. Well, Eep, you're an inspiration to all of us. Also because, you know, you're a father of 4. You've been, you know, you kind of represent a lot of people. You know, job, spent all that time to build it while you had a job until you could earn the income to bring your wife home, then you could bring yourself home, and all the different times through there that you've made a decision. So I think right now it's kind of that same thing. We need to make that decision. You said that in one of the movies there, you made a decision to go all in.
That's when I went from 500 to 1,000 customers.
Yeah.
Doubled everything, and you're going to do it again.
And that will do a difference for so many of your people if they go out, even to build it to 500 customers from 200. That will change their life. So that's also important that people get reminded about it. Don't have to be 10,000 customers to change a person's life. No.
Right.
In Hungary, if you change a person's life in Hungary, they earn 100 euros more a month. So be proud of that. You're helping the next person to earn an extra 100 euros.
Love that. Well, Eep, we appreciate so much your time, that you took your time to come on here. We are definitely ready in the US to follow the fastest growing team right now that you have. We want to, you know, we don't want to just follow you, Eep. Sorry to tell you this, but we want to pass you.
Good. I hope I get the opportunity to get to US to speak at an event one day, but I hope we can find a time for that.
Oh, well, I'm going to unmute everybody so they can say hello too. So thank you, Eep, from all of us.
Thank you, Eep.
Thank you.
It's great to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
My
everybody.
ID.
Let's make the USA number 1. Are we ready?
Somebody asked me if I work for the CIA.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Just go and kill it.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Blessing.
Have a great day.
Bye.
That was loud.